Abigail Sanchez. I'm in 10th grade and I go to Mission High.
My name is David. I'm in the 10th grade. I go to Mission High School.
My name is Jenny Lee and I'm in 11th grade and I go to Mission High School.
My name is Ahmed McDonald. I go by AJ and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm in 12th grade. My name is Madeline Weisenberger.
My name is Yolanda Flakes. I'm in the 12th grade.
Well, I don't like reading, so it's boring to me.
I like reading because I get to learn a lot of new things that I wouldn't learn in school or just in everyday life.
I don't really necessarily like to read. I like to skim through the pages and see what's most important.
I don't enjoy reading sometimes because it takes some time because I'm a slow reader and I kind of just want to get it over with.
Do I like reading or not? It's okay. I'm fine with it.
I do like it sometimes, not so much in school because it's a little tedious because we do work that kind of takes away from the book and the meaning of it.
I learned to read when I was little in school.
When I was learning how to read, it was really hard for me. It took me a really long time. I didn't really know how to read until about 5th grade.
I think when I first learned how to read, I was in 1st grade because I saw people reading and I wanted to learn how to read too.
I think I was around 5 when I learned how to read. I remember struggling a lot because I was kind of behind in kindergarten and I didn't enjoy reading at all.
I think I was about like 4, 3, I don't know. I remember my first book was like Cat in the Hat, you know, Dr. Seuss book. Mostly every kid read that.
I remember learning to read when I was in 4th grade.
Words that come to mind when I think about reading are history, fun, and sleep.
When I think about reading, some words that come to mind is learning, boring, and sometimes interesting.
When I think about reading, the words that come to mind are distress, because when I want to break from social media or anything chaotic, I like to read to get my mind blank.
Boring and tiring. Whenever I start reading, I start feeling hella sleepy, especially in school. And they're making me do it too. It's not like I want to go do it in my free time. Unless it catches my interest, of course, but most of the time, depends what it is.
Leisure, nice.
There isn't the hardest part.
The hardest part about reading is falling asleep.
I think the hardest part of reading was probably when you first learn how to read because there's a lot of stuff you don't understand.
The hardest part for me is when I don't understand a word, I get really frustrated. I usually end up giving up, but sometimes when I actually do want to push myself, I search for the word and I try to understand it.
Getting interested.
And I think the hardest part would be finding the time and enjoying it.
I think my dad had a big part of teaching me how to read.
I think myself because I just saw books in front of me. I just started reading.
Well, I don't exactly remember her teaching us. I just remember the teacher giving us books to take home and try to read them at home. And my mom would help me with that.
My parents did, mom and dad. Just bought home a book one day, gave it to me, and I taught myself basically.
My 4th grade teacher, Robin Yorkie, taught me how to read, and I remember it being nice when I could do it clearly and everything, but it was difficult for the most part.
I don't really have a best part of reading.
My favorite part of reading is learning something new and learning about others.
To me, the best part of reading is learning as you read.
I think would be the feeling of satisfaction after you finish a book.
Honestly, just getting to the end of the story you're reading, because then all the reading you did finally paid off, and then you finally see what happens at the end.
I think the best part of reading would probably be learning other people's stories.
My teacher last year for history was Miss Goldstein, and I think that she helped me find my passion for reading, because I realized that I really enjoyed history, and those are kind of the books that I read now.
Over the years, I guess teachers have tried to help us read more by forcing us to read in class, but sometimes that wouldn't help, because when I'm forced to read, my mind goes somewhere else and does not concentrate on the reading. I guess I like to read on my own terms.
I remember when I was in elementary school, I went through this program, and every time you would read a book, there would be a dog, and after you finish reading the book, they'd give you a cookie. And I would always go because that was a good cookie. And I loved playing with the dogs.
I really don't remember that.
I think giving us time in class was made it easier to read. Like we'd have like 20 minutes in the beginning of class, and that was nice. And then also just reading with me and having me take notes made it easier.
I think that we need to focus on like helping children find their passion, because if you know what your passion is, then you want to learn more and read more about it. Like I enjoy history, and that's why I read about it. If someone likes sports, then they would read more about sports.
Maybe finding a book with lots of action in it, because I like action in books. Like I don't like to read things that are like not interesting to me.
I believe if there was a motivation to read, people would do it more. And I think having therapy dogs and cookies would probably be a good idea.
I think teachers need to get more involved with the students and not push them into reading, because some people, of course, don't like reading. I think they need to learn how to get comfortable reading, because maybe that's why they don't like to read, and determine what genre they like to read.
I think it's important to read because you have to understand other people, and I think reading helps with that.
I think it's important to read because over time, if you don't read, it's harder to read because you tend to forget, and sometimes you stumble over the words.
Yes, I think it's important. Why? Because where would we be without literature?
I think it's important that you know how to read. Well, because mostly everywhere you go, you gotta read. So I mean, like if you're looking for a job application, you gotta know how to read it.
I think it's very important because some people don't have the opportunity to travel the world and meet new people and learn their stories. So I think reading helps people learn other people's experiences.